Hello students, welcome to CS Academy. Today we will discuss about the in strength of material. One of the concept it is complex stresses. So many people they are having so many doubts related to the complex stresses. See, first of all, what is the importance of complex stresses? In complex stresses means first of all, what is meant by complex stresses? In complex stresses, if the stresses are acting more than one, that is called as complex stresses. See, for best example, here this is x direction and this is y direction. If the stresses are acting in more than one direction, this stresses is called as complex stresses. See, because of complex stresses, what happen? That means in because of more than one stresses are acting on a body, that body will fails because of these stresses. Suppose if you are finding out the failure where it will be happens, that means because of more than one stresses are acting on your body, because of these stresses the material will induce some stresses, that material will fails. That means suppose if you find out the what is the stress, maximum stress induced on your body, from this you will find out the how much stress induced on your body. Suppose if the stress, maximum stress induced on your body is 200 megapascal, that means when in your body 200 megapascal stress is induced on your body, if you apply the stress less than 200 megapascal or otherwise that material they can resist 200 megapascal. In two cases will be there. In first case it will be the material, in the material you replace that material or it can withstand the 200 megapascal, or otherwise that material stresses it will be less than 200 stresses. At that case the material is in safe condition. That means this means finally you are going to find out the maximum stresses. In maximum stresses means, just I will give you one example. What is the importance of maximum stresses? Okay, suppose if you are finding out the maximum stresses, maximum, because of this maximum stresses you are going to give a safety to the material. But best example, suppose if you are constructing a railway bridge, in that railway bridge if complex stresses are acting, if complex stresses are acting on your body, that means that finally you have to find out the what is the maximum stress induced on your body. What is the use of this? Suppose if you are finding out the maximum stress induced on your body, that means that material they can withstand that load or not. In railway bridge, that whatever the load they are applying, that steel structure they can resist that load or not. Suppose if you resist that load, that material is in good condition, that material they can withstand that maximum stresses. Otherwise you giving some extra material, you are add some extra material, or otherwise you replace the material. That means finally these complex stresses they are giving an idea about the safety conditions. This principal stresses, that means this maximum stresses is called as a principal stresses. These principal stresses exactly where it will be induced, to find out that at what angle this will be induced. That means you have to study about the complex stresses. See, in complex stresses what you are going to find out is maximum stresses, this is also called as principal stresses, and at the same time and shear stresses, maximum shear stresses. That means when a material it is happens at the same time normal stresses and shear stresses also. Suppose if it is induced shear stresses also, that material they can also resist shear stresses also. Why means in strength of materials there is in stresses you are classified as two types. One is normal stress, another one is shear stress. That means only in strength of materials we are discussing the normal stresses and shear stress. Suppose if you are giving safety to a material in normal stresses and shear stresses, that material will not fail. That means that material will safe condition. For that principal stresses you have to find out the principal stresses. okay, for that principal stresses, and this you are finding out the principal stresses. This principal, what is the use of this principal stresses? Based on the principal stress materials, based on the material, how much amount of load they have to apply. Suppose if you consider a ductile material, in ductile material how much amount of load will be applied, in brittle material how much amount of load will be applied. Finally, you want to maintain a safe conditions, these principal stresses will be applicable. Based on these principal stresses, the theory of failures are coming to picture. This, based on this theory of failures, material it will fail in which direction, at what angle, and what type of material it is suitable for what type of failure. That means most of the people they are saying that ductile material it is saying that it is a shear failure, and brittle material it is saying that it is a normal failure. How they can say? That means this based on they are using only the principal stresses informations. The only principal stresses informations, the several scientists they coming to develop a different theories of failures. This is the importance of complex stresses. Now let's understand. First of all, before the complex stresses, first of all, if it is acting as a uniaxial load. Example, uniaxial load. In uniaxial load, the best example is that it is a UTM machine. In UTM machine, you are applying a tensile load. Whenever you are applying a tensile load, that material will fail shear. That means that material fails shear means, that means here in this case, what is the maximum stress induced on a body? Maximum shear stress induced on a body. That's why this failure is a shear failure. Sir, in each and every case, mostly we are using this tensile load. That means it is a uniaxial load. One more example is that this failure, shear failure is that, or fan tie rod. Fan tie rod, it is in the tie rod upper portion they have a tensile, and bottom portion the fan weight will be there. That means this is also one of a example of a example of a uniaxial load. That means if you are applying normal load, that failure will be a shear failure. That means you are applying normal load, that means it is a maximum stresses, that failure will be a shear failure. That means this failure it is happens in this particular plane. That means you are applying load at cross sectional area perpendicular to the area, but this failure will be happens at this plane. That means the failure will happens at some angle to that particular plane. That means it is happens to the this is theta plus 45. That means it is happens at 45 degrees, theta plus 45 degrees angle. That means this failure it is happens. Sir, mostly cases happens in shear failure, you cannot say. That means based upon the loading condition you can say. Suppose if it is happens in case of buckling load. Suppose if you are applying buckling load, that means if you are applying compressive load. Whenever you are applying compressive load, what happen? This will bends like this. That means finally this bending comes like this. What is this represents? That means this is a normal failure, and this will buckle like this, and that this shape change will be like this. That means this shape change it fails, it is a normal failure. See here this failure is a shear failure, here this failure is a normal failure. That means sometimes shear failures will be happen, sometimes normal failures will be happens. That means in the any material in the universe, in strength of materials, in any material, either it failure will be a normal failure, either it failure will be a shear failure. This is in case of uniaxial load. Now suppose if more than one stresses are acting on a body, what happen? That means example, this is tensile load, all tensile loads are acting on a body. All tensile loads means it is more than one stresses are acting on a body. That means if more than one stresses are acting on a body, what it is called? This is called as a complex stresses. In complex stresses, the best example is that here this happens, it is in all directions tangential load. In thin cylinders there is a hoop stresses and longitudinal stresses. In hoop stresses and longitudinal stresses, the stresses will be in tangential directions. That means in this case that failure will be a shear failure. That means that cylinder it is separates into two parts. That means this failure is a shear failure. And just now we have discussed most of the cases that failure, thinking that it is a shear, that it will not be happens like a shear failure. Sometimes it will be a normal failure also. And now you consider a hydrostatic condition. Hydrostatic condition, that failure will be a normal failure. That means all will be compressive load. Hydrostatic condition. Hydrostatic means it is like a bulk stresses are acting on a body. If bulk stresses are acting on a body, that will changes to a normal failure. See here, this will be a shear failure, this will be a normal failure. That means some materials, that material it may be either shear failure, that material failure may be a normal failure. Finally that failures will be a normal failure and shear failures. To understand principal planes, that means to understand a normal failure and to understand a shear failures, first of all you have to consider the on which plane the stresses will be maximum. And you have a three planes, you have three mutually perpendicular planes, and this is xy plane, this is yz plane, this is zx plane. See here, imagine this is the x axis, this is the y axis, and this is the z axis. This entire part it is a xy plane, and this part it is a yz plane, and this part it is a zx plane. That means these three are mutually perpendicular planes. In any one plane, that means what is meant by plane? Plane means it is a two-dimensional. That means it is having a area. See here, this is having a area. This is known as a plane. This plane it is known as a yz plane, and this is known as xy plane, and this is known as zx plane. That means this is a plane, it is having a two-dimensional. That means that maybe that failure may be in xy plane, that failure may be in yz plane, zx plane, or this failure may be in xy plane. That means in any plane the stresses will be maximum. That maximum stresses is called as a principal stresses, and only in principal stresses that normal stresses will be exist. See here, that normal stresses will be exist. Now you understood what is principal plane and what is oblique plane. To understand principal plane and oblique plane, now imagine, see here, this is a one plane, and what is this plane? This is in z direction and this is in y direction, and now this plane will be a yz plane. In yz plane only the normal stresses is acting. If the plane it contains only normal stresses, that is called as a principal plane. What is meant by principal plane? Principal plane it is in that plane contains only normal stresses. It is not having any shear stresses. See here, it is not having any shear stresses. That type of plane is known as principal plane. That type of stresses is called as principal stresses. Now again you consider one more point. Here, see here, this is a zx plane. In zx plane only normal stresses will be there. That means you call it as this is a principal plane. Yes, you can call it as a principal plane. Sir, how you can call it as a principal plane? This plane it is not having any shear stresses. Only the normal stresses will be exist. That means this plane zx plane is also called as a principal plane. Finally, principal plane means that plane is not having any shear stresses, only it contains normal stresses. That is called as a principal plane. See here, suppose this is, sir, you are saying that this is also principal plane. This is also principal plane. That means which one is maximum? Which one is maximum? That means principal planes are two types. One is major principal and another one is minor principal. That means suppose imagine if this stresses sigma x is greater than sigma y. This sigma x is greater than sigma y means this stress will be maximum. Now this is a principal plane or not? That means this is called as a major principal plane and this is called as a major principal stress. And this is called as this is also principal plane. This is called minor principal plane. This stress is called as minor principal stress. See here, major and minor, major and minor, they are separated at an angle of 90 degrees. Very important point in competitive examination. Two principal planes, they are separated at an angle 90 degrees. Clear? This is the information about the principal planes and principal stresses. Again I will tell you, see here, this is a plane. This plane contains only normal stresses. This is called as principal plane. That stresses, it is whatever the stresses they have, that is called as principal stresses. In that plane it is having one more stress, that is sigma y. This is also principal plane and this is also called as principal stresses. But I am considering that sigma x is greater than sigma y. That's why this stress is maximum. This stress will be minimum. This stress is maximum. That's why it is called as a major principal stress. And this stress is minimum. It is called as a minor principal stress. And that means two principal stresses, major and minor principal stresses, they are separated by an angle of 90 degrees. Sir, what is the major principal stress? That means maximum principal stress. What is it? That means it depends upon a material. Suppose if you consider in case of a ductile material, the ductile material, what is the maximum point you are consider? Yield point. Suppose if you are consider a brittle material, what is the maximum material? That is ultimate point. Based on these principal stresses, the theory of failures, they are considered, they are applying different materials. In case of a ductile materials, they are telling that it is a yield point is a maximum material, and brittle material, it is a brittle material, this is the ultimate tensile strength point is the brittle material. So why they are considered these two points? Means only because of the safety conditions. That means finally ultimate point is you have to give the safety to a material. That is the importance of principal stresses. Now coming to here, one more example. See here, this is a plane. What is this plane? YZ plane. This plane, it is called as a principal plane. This plane, it is not called, this is not a principal plane. Why it is not principal plane, not a principal plane? See here, this is normal stresses. This plane contains normal stresses as well as this plane contains shear stresses also. That means when a plane contains shear stresses, that is not a principal plane. That means that plane, it is not a principal plane. That is not a principal stresses. See here, now see, this is a principal plane. This is also not a principal plane. Why it is not a principal plane, not a principal stress? That means this is also contains normal stresses. Only suppose if contains it is normal stresses, this is called as principal plane. Okay, now imagine suppose if this is the part, it is not there, shear stresses is not there. This is sigma x only acting. Now this is called as a principal stress, this is called as a principal plane, and the stress corresponding, this is called as principal stress. Why it is called as a principal plane? That means this plane contains only normal stresses, it is not having shear stresses. That means when any one plane, it is having only normal stresses, there is no shear stresses, that type of plane is called as principal plane. Okay, sir, where in this case, suppose if all will be exist, that means this normal stresses and shear stresses, this normal stresses and shear stresses, this is also, suppose if exist normal stresses and shear stresses, normal stresses and shear stresses. In this case, in which plane the stress will be maximum, where the principal plane will be exist? You have a doubt. Sir, okay, this is not a principal plane, this is not a principal plane, this is not a principal plane, this is not a principal plane. Sir, there is no principal plane will exist in this element. In this principal plane, in this element, there is a existing of a principal plane. Where it will be there? That means at what angle it will be exist. It entire in 360 degrees, at some angle it will be exist. That means in this case it is there is no here in this case there is no principal plane, in this case there is no principal plane, there is no principal plane, there is no principal plane. Suppose if it exits, suppose if you draw a one more line, this line is called as a oblique plane. What is the term of oblique plane? That means oblique plane means, suppose if you are drawing a one line at any angle, that angle it is making some theta, that means it is from vertical axis. This plane is called as oblique plane. What is meant by oblique plane? Oblique plane means you draw at one line to cut the element, and you consider this is the point from vertical directions. This plane it is called as a oblique plane. That means this oblique plane, in that oblique plane, this will be only normal stress it will be exist. This plane will be a oblique plane will be a principal plane. Suppose if there is shear stress will be exist, this is not a principal plane. Finally, what is our condition? Only in any plane only normal stresses it is exist, there is no shear stress exist, that is called as a principal plane. Now imagine this is in all four cases the shear stress will be exist, and at somewhere the principal stress will be exist. That's why I am considering at some angle it is making vertical line theta, this will be a oblique plane, this oblique plane will be a principal plane. Suppose if it is acting normal stresses, that means this is the representation of a oblique plane. Here this is normal stress, shear stress exists, this is normal stress, shear stress exists, this normal stress and shear stress exists, normal and shear stress exist, and this is the plane. Only this plane it is called as oblique plane, it is making some angle with the vertical line. This is known as oblique plane. And see here, this is the representation of that particular element. That particular element it is making some angle with the vertical line. And suppose if it contains only normal stresses, that means this plane it is not having shear stresses, that means this plane it is called as a principal plane. That means the corresponding stresses is called as principal stresses. That means there is no shear stresses will be existed, only normal stresses will be exist. Sir, in this case there is only principal stress, only principal stresses will be exist, there is no shear stress will be exist. That means the shear stresses also it will be exist, but the shear stresses it will exist at particular angle. That means how it will be, it happens particular degrees. I will give you one example. See here, this is the oblique plane, this is the principal plane. This principal plane, this at 45 degrees angle, this is a maximum shear stress will be happens. That means this plane is called as maximum shear stress plane. What is this plane? This plane is called as maximum shear stress plane. That means it is tau max will be exist. That means tau max will be exist. Here this plane it is contains shear stresses. That means this plane it is having only shear stresses, but shear stresses is maximum at 45 degrees, theta plus 45 degrees angle. See here, this is a principal plane, this is a maximum shear stress plane. That means finally what you understood by this means principal plane and shear stress plane it is separated at a 45 degrees angle. That means two principal stresses they are separated at 90 degrees angle. That means one principal plane and one shear stress plane they are separated at an angle of 45 degrees. Finally, if you are finding out the materials, one is a principal stress and another one is a shear stress. That means this principal stress is a maximum normal stress, this shear stress is a maximum shear stress. Okay sir, what is the use of this? What is the use of this? That means in material you are finding out the maximum stresses, maximum normal stresses, maximum shear stresses. You are calculating maximum normal stresses and maximum shear stresses. You find out the which material you can useful. That means that material may be ductile material, that material may be a brittle material. If the ductile material they can withstand up to what particular point, and the brittle material they can withstand up to what particular point. And to how you can find out, okay, if how you can find out, that means you can find out is two methods will be there to find out the principal stresses, and you find out the maximum shear stresses. To find out the two methods will be there, that's we will discuss here. That is, you can calculate these stresses in two ways. One is in analytical method, that means by using a formulas method. Another one is a graphical method. That graphical method is called as a Mohr circle method. Okay, the next class we will discuss about the Mohr circle. For the time being, that what is the birth of Mohr circle means, only you have to calculate the principal stresses and maximum shear stresses. To find out the principal stresses, to find out the shear stresses, is a two methods will be there. One is a analytical method, another one is a graphical method. That means in Mohr circle you have studied the principal stresses and maximum shear stresses. This is the importance of complex stresses. Thank you for the watching. I hope you understood this concept. Please subscribe and share it to your friends. Thank you for the watching.